was really annoying.
I know, right? All right, so anyways, we did the warm-up. Now we're going to get into notes. We are going to copy the dot plot over in a minute. That's why I took it down so that we can look at it. So, what was the goal of the warm-up? What were we trying to estimate?
The average of every word.
Average word length. It's an A day.
It's
Third.
Oh, well, good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Kaden.
Good morning.
Average word length.
That's the way you do it when you come in.
Oh, yeah.
Not like
Good morning,
how not yesterday.
Play it off.
Yesterday people kept opening the door and looking at Miss Whittle and then leaving during lunch.
Yeah, it was really weird.
Wait.
Like it happened
Oh,
way
during
more
lunch.
than you would think.
That actually kind of happens a lot. People always open this door.
That's because there are no windows to peek in, see what's going on.
I don't have windows. It's kind
Yeah,
of
open the
depressing.
blinds. Your one little
Open the
sliver of
blinds.
I got the
blind.
sign back there. I
You
got my
open a
skylights
window.
open, that's enough. Alright, so how did we attempt to accomplish finding the average word length? What did you guys do in the warm-up?
We picked
Find average word length.
5 times.
You picked 5 samples of 5 words, right? So, we have some new terminology. And of course I wrote too big. Am I off this side? No.
No.
Alright, so a statistic. That is a number that comes from a sample. So that's going to be for average X bar. And then we're also gonna start looking at proportions, and we will use p hat for those. P hat. That's because we haven't used it before. But P is proportion, and we have used the hat before. What did the hat mean?
Ooh, that's a tough one.
Not the opposite. We used it in chapter 3, everybody's favorite. Linear regression,
Real versus fake or something.
Yeah.
actual,
Yeah.
and
Fake.
predicted.
Yeah.
So the hat meant the predicted Y value, so you can think of it as like the predicted proportion because we're getting it from a sample, so it's an estimate, something that we're predicting. A parameter is a number that is computed from the population. Can we see that green?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So if we're working with a parameter and it's an average, we're going to use mu. And if we're working with a parameter for the proportion, we're just going to use p. The way I remember statistic and parameter and what it comes from is the first letter. Statistic starts with an S, so does sample. Parameter starts with P, so does population. Statistics come from samples, parameters from populations. We always use a statistic to estimate a parameter. So, we're going to make a quick sketch of the dot plot. Jumped by who?
Sorry.
David. Wait, okay, yeah, they're all there. Yeah, he ripped my bag of donuts and tried to.
That was mean.
Are those protected?
Oh my gosh.
No.
All right.
No, David, you're not taking
You've
it.
done it for the whole class?
I got you.
Not all class.
We're gonna make it We're gonna make a sketch.
Mine, isn't it?
No, the two.
Hey,
Two of
hey.
them.
We're gonna make a sketch of this in our notes. I can't make the whole thing fit on there, nor was it big enough for you to read from the back. So we have our lowest point down at 2. Then everything is between a little above 3 to a little above 7. And then we have a few random dots here at the end. It's a sketch. We don't have to make sure we have every dot. Okay? So the lowest one is down at 2. So I'm going to go 1. And then we had one way up above 10. So I'm going to go with 11. So that means 6 is in the middle, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10. Seven, 8, 9, 10. So we had a dot at 2 from Lindsay. We also had a dot, what was it, 10 point what? 10.4 from Lindsay. Thank you, Lindsay. And then we had 3 dots in between 8 and 9. And then we had 1 above 7. And then everything else was between 3 and 7. So we had stuff there, a couple there. And then we had lots at 5. Sorry, got a little wonky there in the middle. But it looks something like that. It's not perfect, it's a sketch. So while you're copying that down, I'm going to read the paragraph down below. In the warm-up, we took a smattering of different samples of 5 words. There are many, many possible simple random samples of size 5 from a population of size 268. If we took every one of those possible samples and calculated the sample, it should say mean, for each, and graphed all of those values, we would have what is called a sampling distribution. Now, we didn't take every possible sample as size 5, so we didn't get an actual sampling distribution. Down below is the definition if you were to look in your textbook. I promise this will show up on the Chapter 7 test. Most likely is a multiple choice question, which is the best description of a sampling distribution for this scenario. It is where the distribution of values taken by the statistic in all possible samples. That's the key. In all possible samples of the same size from the same population. Now, we know how to use our calculator to figure out how many different combinations of 5 words there are from 268. It's a combinatoric that I showed you last chapter. You don't need to do this. I just want to show you. If we go to math prob number 3, there are 268 words in the Gettysburg Address, and we're going to choose 5 of them. There's, what is it? 10? That's hundreds, 100,000s, millions. So it's in the millions, right?
It's 11.
Not billions,
Yes.
millions. I don't know.
It's 11 with
Yeah, it's a
9 more zeros.
9 is a million.
Yeah, nine's a million.
9 is a billion.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
I don't think it matters, does it?
9 zeros
100.
after 1
Yeah, that's
million.
doesn't matter. There's a lot of them. I'm not going to argue about zeros and.
That's
It's
right.
11 billion.
No, I don't know. I just don't want to waste time figuring it. We can figure that out afterwards if it's millions or billions. It's a lot, right? So it's like really impossible to actually do that. So they often use computers to find a true sampling distribution.
Didn't you just like add up all the letters of the entire thing and divide it by everything?
Yes, but you can't always do that. With the Gettysburg Address, we could find the true average length by doing that. But that's because the population was only 268. Sometimes you have a population of, 7.5 billion people, and you want to get a sampling distribution. And you can't actually take all possible samples of the same size from the same population because it's just impossible. So, but that definition will be on the Chapter 7 test. When a statistic consistently overestimates or underestimates a parameter, we say that what is present? Bias.
Good job.
Bias usually is the result of a poor what?
Sample.
Sampling method. So how could we eliminate bias from our warm-up? Lindsay, what did you do in the warm-up?
I picked only 2 letter words.
She wanted her average to be 2, so she picked 5 2-letter words so that the average was 2. How could we eliminate things like that happening?
Random sampling?
Say it again.
Random sampling?
Random sampling. So I could ask you guys to use the random digit generator to find your 5 words instead of letting you pick them. Generator. I think that's how you spell that word. What does SRS stand for again? Simple random sample. Thank you. So like Annika said, we want random sampling instead of allowing us to put bias into the picture. Simple random sample. So we're going to do it again, but we're going to use a random digit generator so that you get random words. You're going to do 5 samples again. Because you're using a random digit generator, you may end up with the same word. Like, bless you. When I said that, you looked at me and you like did this, and I was like, okay, am I that confusing? And then she sneezed, and I got why she twitched her eyes at me. So when I say you may end up with the same word, if we go back here and look, the word the shows up multiple times, right? Of course, now I can't find any of those. But the shows up here. It also shows down here. right? So you may end up with the in the sample twice. That is fine as long as it is 5 separate words. So you can't use this the twice. That's the same word, so you technically you only chose 5 words. Now, the words with their numbers next to them are on the next page, so you don't have to count through the actual Gettysburg Address. Do we remember how to get to the random digit generator on our calculators?
No.
Yes.
Yes. What do we press?
Math.
Math.
Prob.
Prob.
5.
Number 5. Math prob number 5. Lower bound 1, upper bound 268, and you want 5 words. Now, with the older calculators,
Just go type it.
you do have to type it in, but also it may not show all 5. You may have to scroll to the right. Do not hit the up button to highlight it. That freezes it, and then you can't read them. You would just scroll here. So like my first 5 numbers, they're all different. If I got a sample with repeat numbers, I would have to do it again. You cannot have a sample that has the same number twice. Do we have the same ones?
Yes, exactly.
It's because it's a program.
What? Right.
It's not really random.
Well,
It's not.
I was
Hit-
going to do
hit-
one. It wasn't
Hit it.
completely random. I
Hit
think.
it again. See if you get the exact same 5 numbers as me. You will.
Well, I did, but I was just.
It's not random. Can't be random. It's a program.
I was just. I don't know what I was expecting. I was just expecting them all to be different.
All right, and then when you have got your 5 averages again, we're going to make another dot plot.
Oh, am I doing this 5 times?
5 samples of 5 words, so you're going to have 5 dots just like the warm-up, Nolan. And then you're going to put your 5 dots on the paper. You got this, Nolan. I believe in you.
So much.
What? Don't hit the up arrow. Where did I put my?
It smells like compost.
Sorry.
Like a compost. Like a compost bin.
I forgot to get that.
You. So.
Uh-oh.
Afterwards, yeah, you don't feel good, huh?
So you hit second enter. And when you hit enter,
What
don't
is
go
going on?
up. Once you go up, then you can't scroll. But if you stay down there, you can scroll and read the whole list.
It
It's
gave me
the dumbest thing.
fractions.
Look, Gibbies.
It literally did. Look.
Because you have rand.
Oh, how do I fix that?
Rand.
God. Yeah, that's what I just did.
That's why I write it down after I do it, you know what I'm saying?
And then enter?
Uh-huh.
I swear.
You know what I'm saying?
Sure, Emma. Sure, Emma.
Yeah.
Sorry. I like to pick on Emma. Sorry. Taking up space.
No.
Odd numbers. I can't draw a straight line here.
That's stupid.
You can't draw a straight line. It's like impossible, even with rulers. Yeah, that would have. Actually, that's. I don't have one of those. What's a meter? What's a meter? We don't use the metric system.
A meter is the distance that light travels in 92,458.
My daughter asked me something the other day. Of course, I can't remember, but it had to do with the metric system. We're the dumb country that decided we're too good for it.
I've only done it 3 times, dude.
Do we count commas?
What?
Do we count commas?
No.
Okay. Why are they like there?
It made my list easier to make. Alright, when you have your 5 dots, come plot them 5 times again. 5 dots.
Is this what it's going to be like on the test?
Like the chapter test?
Like we're just counting a bunch of words? You're actually
I mean, I can make it like that if you want.
No, because like, what is this useful?
So weird.
You're gonna see in a minute what it did. Alright. No, Anna, banana.
This is taking too long. This is stupid.
Scooby, Scooby, where are you? I need some help from you. Do, 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 I see you. It's on the desk this time. Since I'm gonna take it down and bring it over here anyways, I thought, what's the point of taping it up? Oh man. Friday! What was that stupid song?
It's
Yeah.
Height of middle school.
Of course, Bianca would know it word for word.
I was using it
You were a what kid?
for a YouTube kid.
What does that
I was an
mean?
iPad kid with trucks.
You were an iPad kid?
I was an
Like everywhere you went, your parents had to bring you an iPad?
Well, no, it's just that when I was home, I was just always watching YouTube. Here, my mom took this photo of me when I was like in 3rd grade. And I'm like, I have like my Barbie like in the dream house, and I'm like just like
Playing
Look.
iPad.
let me see. Back is bent. My littlest pet shops are watching my show with me.
How did we? What? I'm
weird.
No, because I've done that. I had the same dream. Like
So
this
that
is
it's
me
the
too.
same
Like I
number
haven't
line
done
as
this.
the warm up.
Get that from my numbers.
Oh, no. So 254 is the word of, so it has 2.
I would never sleep on the top on it.
Oh my god, this is stupid.
Yeah, I would never sleep. No, I would never sleep on the bottom because if it fell on you,
Yeah, that would be
you'd
worse.
cry.
I always had nightmares about that, but I love like
You guys are funny.
I stayed for like.
Bunk beds, you're afraid of bunk beds.
That's fake. Yeah, they're like separate.
Did you put your dots up? Dots. Bianca, Stella, Marie.
Look at all these people going up there.
Stella?
You brought up iPads and I just
I did not.
You
I
said
brought
she's
up Friday.
Friday.
Which made me
Friday.
think of iPads as in YouTube, as in picture, as in
As
This
in bunk
is a
bed,
stretch.
as
bunk
in
beds,
This
as in
is a stretch.
siblings.
Massive.
siblings.
Siblings.
Sibling.
Do you have siblings?
Yeah, I have 2.
What?
It's the
Are
same.
they creepy?
They
Yeah.
Are
definitely.
they creepy?
They're creepy.
Yeah.
Weird.
Are they brothers? Brothers, sisters?
Yeah.
Oh, which?
Brothers.
I have a brother and a
Oh
sister.
my
Brothers or sisters?
Are you the middle child?
Yes.
No, I'm the youngest.
Yeah, I
Same.
think
I'm the youngest too.
Oh my gosh, me too.
You're the youngest
You're also the
child.
oldest. No, you're not.
I'm not the oldest.
I thought you were the only
You just,
child.
you just said you had an older
Yeah,
brother.
Yes, she just said she
Well, my
forgot.
family dynamic is
Listen.
complicated, Nolan, okay?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna bring up my
Yeah, why are you all getting
You
on
don't
their
know the
business like that?
nuances.
Did you put your dots up?
Yes.
Liar.
I did.
Why did you ask me then?
Here to remind you.
I was the second one to do it. That was fast.
They're so much smaller than my last one.
Yeah. That's kind of the point.
That's kind of like. I like the big numbers.
Okay.
Sorry. Yeah, I like the big numbers too. It makes it more powerful. You can get the slug stuck in my head next time. Okay, I'm just like, you get better.
Sorry, Seth. Autocomplete? That's boring.
Because you're watching.
That's boring.
Whose face is that?
Luis Gallegos?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It looks like Eloy. Does it not? You know Eloy, right?
Yeah.
Does it look like him to you?
No, it looks
The
like
big head, the
Luis
big head.
to me.
The big one.
It looks like Luis to me.
Are you all gonna grow?
Yeah.
He's
Why
got
are
a
you all over
duplicate.
my grill?
You came up in my face.
You're in it.
You hella in it right now.
Yeah.
Why you all up in her grow like that?
There's no line.
She's like,
Oh my gosh.
That's smart. I have to wait till like, you just hit my desk.
Why is this class
You're
here?
from Margaret.
Hours.
Proud to do it? Yeah.
Boring.
yeah, just to make
I'm
sure.
not learning anything.
Yeah, you are.
Like what?
It's gonna all come together here in a minute, Seth.
We would learn more just out on the
Yeah, no,
streets.
I remember this specific one.
If it doesn't blow my mind,
What does that look for?
Me, you, and someone else were both wearing something. I was like, this is last year.
I wasn't even wearing heels. Like, I'll go wear heels.
Would we not learn more on the streets?
No.
We definitely would.
Oh yeah?
I'll wear heels.
Yeah.
You're the least street smart person in here, Nolan.
Me.
What do I mean? I mean, you're the least street smart person in here.
I know stuff.
Do you?
I do stuff.
No. This is why you hang out with Gabe. Gabe is very street smart.
Is that why I hang out with all these nice kids too on my team? I become like associated, you know, with the knowledge.
It's all necessary, and I don't.
The street.
No. No.
In the streets.
No. Just, no.
You don't believe me?
No.
Tell me something.
Tanner, have you put your dots up? Okay. Emma did, Nolan did, and Emma and Bianca are up there. Naomi, did you put your dots up? Okay. Miranda? Okay. Aster?
You stuck my head now, too.
Right?
Friday, so.
This is not good.
Why
Dots up?
Bianca?
McKenna works with like
Henry.
kids.
Yeah.
Henry like
Literally got your prom,
loves her.
lasted 2
and
Yes.
minutes. I said, I got
you know,
Yeah.
she's like he's super adorable.
She got
Yeah.
daycare?
yeah,
Daycare?
yeah, she works with them.
That's
Yeah.
fine.
I was observing other teachers yesterday, and I went into Mrs. Jones' class, and she was in there. And so I was talking to her, and she's like, Henry cut me a heart and was like, I love you.
Yeah,
Oh,
made her
yeah.
a heart. Yeah, he's adorable.
That's my son.
It's not gonna happen.
Yeah, she said that he
Mine's
like
not gonna come.
like all the other kids came in there with her to help, and
It's
she
not
was
gonna
like,
happen.
no, I called her. I called her and like grabbed her
Right.
hand and like went over there. It was super funny.
No.
Oh, that's funny.
Knock on wood. Let's see what wood. You know what?
Lindsay, you put your dots up, right?
Yeah.
And then Katiara, you
What
did
was I
yours,
supposed to
right?
do?
Okay.
Yeah.
Why? Is it tricky to get pencil?
All right, so while Annika finishes putting up her dots, we need to put another sketch from the warm-up of our dot plot. so that we can compare the two. So let's do, we're going to make, yeah, we're just going to make a quick sketch. We had 2, we had 11, so 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 5, 6. So we had a dot down here, then we had some stuff going on in here, and then we had a lot going on in between here, and then we had this stuff way up here, and then we had some over here, and then it kind of dies off. We had 1 there, and then we had 3 there, and then that one. So it looks something like that. And then we're gonna, I'll let you guys finish making the sketch of that one, and then we're going to create the sketch of this one over on this number line so we can compare. And I think I checked everybody put their dots up, right? Alrighty. Alright, if I get in your way, let me know, but I'm going to start the other one. So we want to use the same number line, so we have 2 all the way up to 11. So we have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we had a couple dots in between 2 and 3. And we have some stuff at 3. And then we have quite a bit between 3 and 4. And then it drops down. And we have quite a few at 5 again. And then not much over here. And then 1 random dot in between 6 and 7. Alright, so before we get into, well, we are going to compare the two, but how do we describe a distribution?
Stocks.
Socks. Not stocks, socks.
Oh.
What's the first S?
Shape.
Shape. Thank you, Shania. So what is the shape of our dot plot on the left here?
What'd you say?
What's the shape of this?
Skewed.
Skewed which
Slightly skewed right.
way? I would agree. There's a slight skewness to the right. We have all that, and then it tails off to the right. So skew, slight skew right. Slight skew right.
Ooh. Yeah, I keep getting stupid text messages
I don't have that student.
Oh, I hate us.
You don't have that student.
No, I don't.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
I have like 20 texts for both, bro. I was like,
So, do we have outliers, Nolan?
yes.
Which side?
High and low. Well, mainly high.
Mainly
It's like
high,
low, low,
pulling our skewness,
Yeah.
right? And I would agree, yes, but we need to put a safety word because we're not actually going to test.
Possible.
So possible high outliers. Center. Where would you guys estimate the center to be?
5, 6, 5,
5, 6, 5?
5
In between 5 and 6.
5.5.
in there.
In
I'll
there.
go 2.
I agree. Let's go with
5.4.
5.5.
This is my unit.
It is. We were talking about we're gonna ace this unit.
Yeah,
We
I'm
talk
feeling
about
good
it at
about
the
it.
beginning of every unit, and we go, "This is my unit,"
And then I get 24 on the test.
Great.
So
well, I'm feeling good. It's a 60%.
Let's go somewhere in between the 5 and the 6. So 5.5-ish. I put about. Spread. What's the spread? Lindsay, I'm calling on you for that one because you gave us the high and the low. 8.4. So she had 10.4 and 2. So our spread is 8.4. Now we're going to socks the other dot plot.
What?
So what would we use to describe this shape here?
Excuse me.
Yeah, I would agree. It's got more on the left, kind of does that. So I would say a slight skew left, which means what about outliers?
Possible low outliers.
Thank you, Shania. There are possible low ones. What about the center of this guy?
4-ish.
4-ish. Like 4 or 4.5?
4.5.
4.2.
About 4.5, 5. About.
Yeah, like
I
I
would
said.
agree.
About.
About. Anybody besides Nolan and Emma want to throw in a
4.9.
thought? 4.9. I wouldn't say it's that high.
That's pretty high.
4.9's there-ish.
Probably about a good
4.8.
I would say
4.3,
it's-
4.4.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
more
all
in the middle.
4.4.
4.45.
Okay. No. No, Bianca, no 4.45. No. We'll go with 4.4-ish. Somewhere in there. And then, who had the high point between 6 and 7? No? All right. Nobody wants to own up. It's okay. Spread looks like about 6.5 to 2-ish. So let's go about 4.5.
I wouldn't have said that.
Well, since this is your unit, what would you have said?
Not that. Oh, you know,
What would
since
you
you're
have said?
over three,
I just something different.
Oh, okay.
She would have literally wrote down something.
Okay. So,
Okay.
anybody remember I told you the true average length of the word when we did this before? Anybody remember it? It has been a while.
6.
No.
4.8.
No.
3.9.
The true average is 4.28. Which one did a better job at estimating the parameter?
That's the second one.
The second one. Why? Because it was random. So our true SRS using the random digit generator eliminated some of the bias, not all of it. We no longer overestimated. We were much closer. What could I do to make my sampling distribution even better? So we went from picking 5 words of our choosing to 5 random words. What could make this even better?
You randomly select the wrong words that you choose? Sample more.
Sample more. So if we increase the sample size, it's going to make an even better sampling distribution. Bigger sample size, always better. When we increase our sample size, it's going to help reduce the variability of the sampling distribution. And by variability, that means the spread. Although our spread did decrease quite a bit, but that's because Lindsay really messed with our spread over here on the first one, which I appreciate. I like that you purposely chose all long words and then all 2-letter words. But so our spread decreased quite a bit when we went to random. If we were to then increase the sample size, our spread would get even smaller. The data, the dot plot, would be much more compact. May I flip?
Yes.
Thank you, Bianca.
So
So, what makes a statistic a good estimator of a parameter? 2 things that we want. And by the way, this will be on the test too. Maybe in multiple ways. What makes a statistic a good estimator of a parameter? We want to have low bias. And what did I just show you is going to help reduce bias?
Samples, random samples.
An SRS. And then the other thing we want to have is low variability. And what did I just tell you is going to help decrease variability? Bigger sample size. Thank you, Shania. So we're going to do the exit task together, similar to what you'll see in your homework. By the way, I forgot to make copies of the homework sign-off sheet. I'll have it for you on Monday. But if you look down at the bottom of the exit task, that is the correct homework assignment. Yes, 3 problems. No, there aren't A, B, C, D parts to all of them.
just A and B.
And C.
So that's good.
What?
Are they good?
Yeah.
Ooh.
All right. So problems 1 and 2. There is, if I could speak, an underlined number that is the value of either a statistic or a parameter. In each case, you need to state. I'm going to start over because I can't read. Each underlined number in problems 1 and 2 is the value of either a statistic or a parameter. In each case, state which it is and use appropriate notation to describe the number. So first of all, statistics come from what? Samples. And we use X bar and P hat for those. X bar if it's an average, P hat if it's a proportion. Average, proportion. Parameters come from population, and we use mu and p. All right, so number 1. On Tuesday, the bottles of Arizona iced tea filled in a plant were supposed to contain an average of 20 ounces of iced tea. Quality control inspectors sampled 50 bottles at random from the day's production. These bottles contained an average of 19.6 ounces of iced tea. So, it's kind of hard to see, but 20 is underlined as well as 19.6. Which one is our statistic and how do we know? $19.6. It tells us quality control inspectors sampled 50 bottles at random. These bottles contained an average 19.6. So that one is our statistic. And are we going to use X bar or P hat? Is it an average or a proportion? Tells us the word average up here. So it's an X bar of 19.6. That leaves 20 to be our parameter. So we would use mu for that one. Questions? Number 2, on a New York to Denver flight, 8% of the 125 passengers were selected for random security screening before boarding. According to the Transportation Security Administration, 10% of passengers at this airport are chosen for random screening. So we have 8% is one of our underlined numbers and 10% is the other. I really can't speak today. Which one's the statistic? Which one's the parameter? 8%. Statistic is 8%. Now, are we going to use P hat or X bar?
P hat.
Why?
Because it's like the number of people, so the proportion of people.
The proportion of people. Percents are proportions. The weird thing is we're going to change it to a decimal. It can be given as a percent, but when we write the proportion, we need a decimal. And that leaves 10% to be our parameter. And we use P for proportions. And 10% as a decimal is 0.1. And I almost dropped my pen cap. Questions?
No.
Bless you. Why P?
Wait, no, wait, because it doesn't say average.
Doesn't say average. Percents or proportions?